Guys, I had a lot of people in my Facebook group, Ken Dorsey's Cricut and Creative Crafters, that were inquiring about how to make this design that I made in Microsoft PowerPoint using some silhouette images of three different women. And so I'm going to walk through the process on how to do that. But once I got finished with mine, I took it and I put it on this 10 by 8 frame that I got from the $1.25 tree. That doesn't even sound right, does it? $1.25 tree. They just messed up the game just by adding 25 cents. Anyway, so and I apologize for the glare. I can't get it to show without the glare, but it turned out absolutely gorgeous. Even if I cut the light off, the glare, is still there. A little bit less, I think, but it turned out gorgeous. So I'm going to walk you through the process on how to create this in Microsoft PowerPoint. Again, I got this frame from the $1.25 tree, and it is a 10 by 8. Now you can make yours the full 10 by 8, the image I'm referring to. You can make this a full 10 by 8. I, however, downsized mine a little bit to give it more of the black border, or you can do a white border or whatever border color works for you, or you don't have to do a border at all. But I think it turned out really, really pretty. And, I like that it has that little ledge on it because then I can just sit it, wherever without having to worry about putting anything on the back to actually keep it in place. You could also, what would look really nice is to use one of these from what used to be the dollar store. One of these, it would work well into. Or it could be a design that you're going to put on fabric transfer or sublimation. It could be something you want to put on a tumbler, you know. I'm probably going to take some white vinyl and put something right here. I haven't thought what I want to put there yet. I've told my Facebook group to ask them what should I name her. So we'll see what they say. But these little frames like this, they come in black and white. So I think it would look really good in that, in one of these as well. So like if I take that image and I put it in the, there we go. So instead of turning it on the black side, turn it on the white side, but you can kind of see where I'm going. But to put your image inside and have that white background like that, I think would look really, really nice. You can't get the full effect because, like I said, of the glare, but this is what I'm going to be walking through. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how you create this design in Microsoft PowerPoint. All right, see you in a minute.
Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Please ensure to like, share, and subscribe. And also click the bell notification in the top right-hand corner to be made aware anytime I upload tutorials or videos to YouTube. All right, let's craft together.
All right, guys, here we are inside Microsoft PowerPoint. I have a blank slide on my screen. Now, for my design, I am using, so when you go to design in the menu, come over to the right to slide size and custom slide size. I'm using 11 for the width, 8.5 for the height, and I have it on landscape for the orientation. You don't have to worry about the notes and the handouts because we're not going to be utilizing that, but 8.5 by 11, 11 being the width, and we have it in the landscape position. Now, once you hit OK, you'll get a second screen. You just want to select maximize and hit OK. Or ensure, I'm sorry, ensure and OK. All right, so here we are. I have my blank slide, 8.5 by 11 going in the landscape position. So the first thing I want to do is I want to insert that background. So we're going to go to Insert, Picture. You're going to come to Online Pictures, and you're going to select Background. And then we're going to scroll through here, and we're going to select the background that we're going to be working with. Which is this one. And once you find it, you're going to select Insert. And it's going to place that background on your slide. Okay. So now that we have our background that we're going to be working with, you can go ahead, if you get this design ideas, you can go ahead and click on the X in the top right corner there, because we're not going to work with that right now. But what I do want you to do is go ahead and click on your background, the colorful background. And I want you should have a format picture here on the right side. If not, you can right click and select format picture. But you have 4 options here. I want you to select the size and position, which is the third one. And we're going to deselect this lock aspect ratio, and we're going to deselect relative to original picture size. And we're going to change this to 8 by 10. So the height is going to be 8 and the width is going to be 10. So that is the size of the canvas, not canvas, but the picture frame that I'm working with. I'm so used to saying canvas in Cricut Design Space. Okay, so this is the size of my picture frame, okay? And now you will see that I will shrink this down eventually, but right now this is where I'm going to keep it. All right, so we have an 8 by 10 going in the portrait position on a slide size 8.5 by 11. So that's your standard letter size, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to insert 3 rectangles, and we're going to take the width of this shape here, or this image, which is 10, and we're going to divide it by 3, which is going to give us 3.33. So we're going to do 3 rectangles, and we're going to make them a little bit taller than 8 inches high, but we're going to keep them at 3.33 in width, okay? So let's do that. So we're going to go to the menu and select Insert. You're going to select Shape, and we're going to choose this rectangle. Now for Microsoft PowerPoint, you have to click and drag, okay? Click and drag. It doesn't just pop up, okay? So now that we have a rectangle here, we're going to go over to our Format Shape. Now, if you have a line going around your rectangle, which will indicate it here, that you have a solid line, you want to make sure it says no line. We don't want a line. And the other thing is we're going to change the size here. So you're going to go back to your size and properties, which is that third option. And we're going to change this. We're going to make this about 8.2 because we need it a little bit taller than our colorful image or background. And then we're going to make this 3.33. Now again, I got the 3.33 from dividing 10 divided by 3. 10 divided by 3, that's going to give us the width, because we want 3 rectangles that's going to, in essence, cover up the entire background here, okay? But we still want to be able to see how we can click on those rectangles, so we don't want to make the rectangle the same height as the colorful background here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to right click, we're going to copy, and then right click and paste. And you're going to move that rectangle over to where it meets the previous one. And then you're going to click off of it, right click and paste, because you already have it copied. And you're going to paste that one right next to the previous one and where it left off. So right now you should have 3 rectangles that are 8.2 in height and 3.33 in width. You should have 3 of those, and they should be covering up your colorful background right now. All right, we're going to be sending these to the back, and we're going to have our background, the colorful one, to come forward. But what we're going to do first is to make it easy, if you're following along, I want you to change these colors. So click on that first rectangle, come over to your format shape. You're going to click on the down arrow, drop down arrow for color. We're just going to make it yellow. We're going to click on the second rectangle. We're going to come back over to our format shape color, and we're going to change it to green. Doesn't matter what color green. You can change it to any color, but when I'm giving the instructions, I just want to make it easy for you to know which one I'm selecting. And then instead of the blue, we're going to go with orange for that very last one. So those are our three colors. So what we're going to do now is you're going to click the first rectangle, hit shift on your keyboard, and then click the next two rectangles and let the shift key go. So you should have 3 rectangles on your slide. All 3 should be highlighted. You can tell they've been selected because there should be circles going around all of them, all the way around. And then you're going to right click on your mouse and you're going to select send to back. So now your background, the very pretty one, I'm going to say pretty one, the pretty one is now come forward and your rectangles are in the back. Now the next thing you want to do is go ahead and click the pretty background. You're going to right click and copy. You want to have that copied to your clipboard because we're going to need it here a couple of times, okay? So what you're going to do now is you're going to select your pretty background and then hit shift on your keyboard and select the yellow rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to do it again. You're going to click the pretty background. You're going to hit shift on your keyboard and select the yellow rectangle. And notice I'm going down to the bottom because I can see that the yellow is extended, so I can click it. If you try to click from the top where you can't see it, you're not going to be able to select it, okay? So now you see circles going all the way around my pretty background, and you also see circles going around that very first rectangle to let you know they're both selected. So we're going to bring them together to change that yellow rectangle to our pretty background, okay? So we're going to do that by going to Menu, Shape Format, and you're going to come down to Merge Shapes on the left and Intersect. Okay, so now you have changed the yellow rectangle to that pretty background. Okay, so what I want you to do now is to just right click and paste, because remember we copied our original pretty background. Now we have it copied and saved to our clipboard so we can use it when we need to. We're going to do the same thing with the green rectangle, the one in the middle, or whatever color you made it. So you want to make sure that your pretty background is selected. You're going to hit shift on your keyboard and select the middle or the green rectangle. You're going to go back to your menu and select Shape Format. Go over to the left, Merge Shapes, and Intersect. You're going to click. This hasn't moved over enough. So I'm going to shift it just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's not going to make a difference because we're going to be shifting it here in a moment. All right, so now we're going to right click again and paste, because remember we want to get our pretty background back in there, and then we're going to shift on the keyboard and click your third rectangle or orange rectangle. You're going to go back to Shape Format. On the left, Merge Shape and Intersect. So now you have 1, 2, 3 of your, you've turned all your rectangles into that pretty background. You have 3 pieces. So now you have 1, 2, and 3, okay? All right, now that we have that done, what I want you to do is I want you to duplicate that slide. So you're just going to click on it, right click, and select duplicate slide. Okay, so going forward, this right here could be your template where you can insert a background and then you can break that background up into 3 pieces based on what you see here. Okay, If you don't feel like you need it, don't even duplicate, okay? So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna take and we're gonna get our 3D shape going on now. So that very first one, that very first shape on your left, we're gonna click on it and we're gonna come up to Shape Effects, which is on your right over here, top right, Shape Effects, and you're gonna come down to 3D Rotation. We're gonna be using Perspective, and you're going to select the perspective right, and it's going to tilt that shape to the right, and you can see it's kind of going on the diagonal downward. Okay, now you're going to click on that third rectangle, not the middle one, the third rectangle. We're going to skip the middle one, and you're going to go back to Shape Effects and 3D Rotation, and this time from Perspective, you're going to select Perspective Left. And if you lay your cursor on it, it'll give you the name of which perspective it is. Okay, so Perspective Left. So now you should have the left and the right rectangles that are tilted with that 3D effect. The middle one, what we're going to do is we're going to click on it and we're going to just click that middle circle and drag down. We want it to line up as if it's lining up with the left and the right rectangle from the edge here. Okay, so it should look like it's declining, it levels out, and then it inclines. Okay, and you're going to click on the middle rectangle, and you're going to do the bottom as well, shift it upward so that it meets the middle of your rectangles. So now you have your 3D effect. You can leave the image with this much space, or you can bring it in a little bit. I like to bring mine in so it's barely just a little bit of a hello in there. So you can see a little bit of a little white space. Okay. So what we're going to do now is you should have Format Background on your right. If you don't, you can just click on the white space and then select Format Background. So Format Background, I like to make mine black. So I'm just going to select the color and go with black. And that's how you get the black background. All right, so now what I want you to do is to go ahead and right click on that slide and duplicate it. And so what you're doing here is working in stages. This is where you took your initial background, you broke it up into 3 pieces, okay? Then after you got it broken up into 3 pieces, you then took it and you added a 3D format to it and gave it a black background. Now you're gonna add your images, okay? All right, so to add our images, we're going to go to Insert, Picture, this device, and you want to locate your images wherever you have them on your computer. Now, I'm going to be using 3 different images, and that is because I don't want to reprint the ones I've already done, but I will show you here are the ones that I used initially. These are the ones that I used initially. Now, I'm not going to use these again, like I said, but you can arrange your images. I think the silhouettes look really nicely on this background. You can arrange those images however you so choose, okay? So insert picture, this device. I'm going to go back one, and I'm going to select You just locate wherever you have the images on your computer. You just locate them and then you place them wherever you want them on your slide. Okay. So, like I said, I'm not going to use these this time. I'm going to use different images. So I'm going to go Insert, Picture, this device. And I'm going to go back to Downloads. to the downloads. And let me see where I have my pictures that I want to use this time. Now these images that I'm using, the previous ones are from DesignsbyAymara. So that's where I got those images from. This time I'm going to be using these kind of nurse-like images. And I think these were designed by Aymara as well. So insert picture. You just want to locate 3 images from your computer that you want to use. I don't remember where I got my images from on this one. Okay, so we're gonna take, I think I got 9 last time. We're gonna take her. And the way I'm gonna arrange these is I'm gonna make it look like these were smaller. And then this one went taller. And then when I insert that third one, I'm gonna make her a little bit smaller. Insert picture, this device, and on my downloads to the downloads. And let's do 6. All right, so I'm gonna make her a little bit smaller. Her hair looks too close to that one. Oh, they basically gave us 3 of the same image and they just did a head change. Gave her a neck. Now, one day I'm going to get into that because I would like to design my own images. All right, so there we go. So I have my 3 images that I've placed on there. They look really nicely. You can make them whatever size you like, whatever floats your boat. So what I'm going to tell you to do at this time, now that you have all 3 of them done, if you want to turn this into a photo, you can take a snapshot of your screen. So I have this PRT space SC button on my keyboard. It's the print screen. You can use Snagit, you can use the snipping tool, whatever you have. But I'm going to hit the print screen key, and it's going to turn my screen a little dark grayish looking. And then it gives me this little crosshair, little pink crosshair you guys can see on my screen. And I'm just going to click and drag, and that's going to allow me to take a snapshot of my screen. Okay, so I've taken a snapshot. Now I can come down and right click and paste. So now I have this and I can size it to whatever size I would like it. You know, so if you want to use the 8.5 by 11 and then make your image a little bit smaller so you have that white border, that's really, really pretty. Whatever works for you, or you can leave it on that full sheet, you know, depending on how you're going to be utilizing it, okay? You want to keep in mind if you were using this for sublimation that you do want to mirror your image. And you can do that just by clicking on the image after you've taken a snapshot, of course. After you take your snapshot, you're going to go to picture format in the menu, rotate, and you're going to flip it horizontal. Okay, that's if you were going to be using it for sublimation. All right, or white fabric transfer. White fabric transfer, you want to mirror the image as well. All right, so that is it, guys, in a nutshell. That is how you can go in and create that design that I showed you in the beginning. You can make this background here. It can be white. You can make it whatever color you so choose. Sometimes I like to just add different colors just to see what, you know, what everything will look like. And I just kind of play around, and sometimes I get on that is so pretty, like that type of effect. I'm not saying this bright orange is pretty, but I'm saying that's normally, you know, what I get. Or use your eyedropper, you know, and take a color from the picture itself. But that's it. That is all. I'm going to get this little bit of white so you can see like I got a little white here and I don't want that in my image. So I'm going to click on it and say picture format, crop and crop. And I'm just going to select, you got these little dark little lines. You want to make sure you click those little dark bold lines and just kind of drag in a little bit, and that'll get rid of that white space. You do not want that white space because that did not look pretty. But anyway, that is it, guys. That is how you create that design that I showed you initially in the beginning of this tutorial. You can print this out and, you know, use it however you want to. Make tumblers, put names on it, you know, make t-shirt transfers. What I'm trying to get you to do is to step outside of this right here. And this is by no means mocking or being funny or anything like this. It's just giving you a chance to get a little bit more creative with your designs. And, you know, we can do it, guys. We can do it. We can do it. I'm going to show you the difference. So I could have very easily went in here and just took this and then just took my 3 images from here and copied those and pasted them on here. So I could have very well just did that and been like, done, 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 done. Okay. You know, but of course I probably wouldn't have thought about, oh, I'm going to make this one, you know, shorter or taller or whatever. I probably would have had them all like that, but you know, give you a different method of designing, you know, rather than just adding the image to the slide, so to speak. Okay. All right. So I did not mean to make this a super long tutorial, but I had a lot of people in my group asking me how did I make it. So I wanted to go ahead and show you how I did it. And since I've already used those previous images, I didn't want to use those again. But the good thing about this is the reason I had you do these in stages, if you forget, you know, you can put some things here to say, excuse me, insert some text here to say, this right here is, you know, 3 rectangles. That's the way you want to look at that. And then I copy, and this is going to be your 3D effect. Perspective. You know, should you forget some things to kind of jog your memory, and you can move those completely off of your slide. They don't have to be sitting on your slide. You can move them, you know, over to the side or what have you. Okay, so we got 3D effect. This one is your 3 rectangles. Stop playing with me, little thing. All right, it's being funky. It's being funky. There's always more than one way to skin a cat. You just gotta figure out how to do it. All right, so those are your 3 rectangles, and then you have your 3D effect, and then this is where you're going to, you know, add your images, okay? Take a snapshot of it. And this is actually a picture now instead of, you know, the images that you were working with. That way, the next time you come here and you want to do this, you want to change the image, you just click on the image and select change graphic from a file, and then you just go and locate, you know, whatever picture. So if I wanted to use those other pictures by Designs by Aymara, I could go here, click on that, and it would change my background. All I got to do is resize where I want it. Just that simple. Click the image, change graphic from a file. I'm going to go back. I'm selecting the PNGs. And change graphic from a file. And again, we're going to go back and humble. Here I am forgetting which one I worked with. All right, there we go. But I'm pretty sure you can find these, like I said, on Etsy. I got them from when I used to be on her Patreon and buy me a coffee and all that good stuff, but I got rid of all those things. Okay, so whatever floats your boat. The other thing I wanted to show you right before we leave here is I did it also with a different backgrounds using going back to insert backgrounds from Bing like we did previously. I thought that background right there was really, really pretty. And then I used the three different nurse type images to kind of bring those out. And I thought that was really, really pretty as well. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you have any questions or something was not clear on this process, then let me know. All I did when I got ready to print this out, so let's say if this is the one that I was going to print out, then I just went to File, Print. Make sure you select Print Current Slide because you only want to print out the current slide that you're working with. And I'm working with the HP OfficeJet Pro 7740. So I have my borderless on. Other glassy inkjet paper is what I'm using. I have it on best print quality, and my paper quality I have on letter from the main tray, and like I said, other glassy inkjet because I'm using the Pen and Gear glassy photo paper. And then you just hit OK and put your paper in and print it. Okay. Now, if you want to use the 10 by 8 photo frame that I'm using, you're going to have to cut this down to size. That's why I would highly recommend that you do, make it smaller than the actual size. So you can go and click on, once you take a copy of the image, you can click on it and look at the size and position to see what size it is. So right now the height is 7.59 and the width is 9.84. You can make it smaller than that so that when you do cut around it, you'll still get some of that pink or whatever color background that you have to kind of bring it out. Mine was black, so you couldn't tell it as much, but that'll give you a little bit more of the border around there so that when you print it out, you won't be cutting up to mess up or distort how you had your 3D effect in there because you don't want to touch that. Okay. All right, guys, that is it. That is my story, and I am sticking to it. If you're currently subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you guys so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you're not, and this is your first time seeing me and you like my method of teaching, then please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also, if you'll hit that bell notification in the top right-hand corner, and that way you'll be made aware anytime I upload video tutorials to YouTube. I'm also going to put a link in the description, guys. If you ever want to tip your creators, there's a way that you can click on this link and you can go in and you can tip your creators, for their effort, especially if you learn something. And it's just a way for us to continue to buy supplies and things like that so that we can continue to bring these great video tutorials to you on all the different types of crafts that you like to make. So I will link that for my creator guide in the description if you would like to partake in that. You can also use it if you wanted me to create a tutorial specifically on something that you wanted me to create. You can also make a request there. And then you could, tip for those services as well. Okay. All right, guys. If you're currently in my Facebook group, Candoris's Cricut and Creative Crafters, then I want to thank you guys so much for following me on Facebook. I have a closed Facebook group. If you would like to join us, just send a Facebook group request to Ken Doris's Cricut and Creative Crafters, and we'll get you in our little Facebook group. Okay. All right, guys, that is all that I have. Thank you again to all my YouTube subscribers and to my Facebook group members. I thank you all so much. And you guys know my motto is each one reach one so that each one can teach one. And you guys have an awesome day.